Olimar, who claims that an attack against Venezuela is coming and that it will happen sooner than expected. Yesterday, the Western Journal reported the United States already has. The positions are set for attack. They know their target, approved by Trump. Right now, there are already what's it called? Ships in attack position right now, obviously. Well, the stakes went up, but Street tells me that something is happening, that I should check this out here. Let's see what's going on. He says, let's get into the details. He says, alert. All officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Forces were called to their bases in Comuto, La Romane, Chaguaramas, and Long Circular. Military sources indicate that this is a unified state stance, raising the threat level to the maximum. This, mind you, is related to what's happening with Venezuela. Let's go over several details of what's happening right now in that part of the world. But everything points to something coming in Venezuela, and what is coming? Well, apparently it's soon. It says the following. This is an intelligence analysis. It says the United States Southern Command has published images show Marines from the 22nd Expeditionary Unit. I think it's mostly for show. Currently embarked with the amphibious group. I'm not talking about this part of the image since the image is usually more for show. Fear of the opposite, right? He says they're doing live fire drills in small boats in the Caribbean Sea. They're close to Venezuela, which is the part that catches your attention. But this part, okay, this part is interesting, but let me show you something else because this really catches my attention. And this is being observed. It's been observed since yesterday. Now let's see if I can show it. There it is. The United States ship Iwo Jima landing helicopter dock 7 flagship of the Iwo Jima amphibious ready group was located. In this northern area, Hochila Island is in Venezuela. Very close if you look, this is the Iwo Jima, this is the island. So we're talking about them being really close. And this has been since yesterday. The destroyer, also Arleigh Burke class, is a bit further north than the United States ship Iwo Jima. Let's see if we can put it on the screen. This one is a little higher up, but you can't see it there. There it is then. There are a ship from this area, another ship from this area. This time it's a destroyer, but they're saying it's very close, already near Venezuelan positions. That's why it's believed that something might be about to happen. Meanwhile, look at what Maduro is doing. Maduro is also making his moves. He says the following. Let's put the image of Maduro and Putin here. There is an intelligence report in which they request urgent military aid from Russia. They're looking for radar upgrades. They're looking for aircraft repairs. Also, according to what a second intelligence report says, the Washington Post says operations are intensifying near the coast of Venezuela. They are also urgently requesting military aid from the Russians, including missiles, radar upgrades, and aircraft repairs. Meanwhile, things keep escalating. They keep going to the next level. Among the requests, Maduro, plus among what was said yesterday by Donald Trump. Regarding this, yesterday she maintained that she was talking about how they are already seeing that an operation is going to take place, in which Washington was already saying it has been decided that there will be an attack. Basically, they're all Venezuelan military bases, right? So what's coming up there is, well, at least this one apparently seems to be already focused on a conflict. It's no longer about if it's going to happen, but rather when it's going to happen, because that's the thing. We don't know that, right? What the World Series Journal did clarify is that there's no date, no day, no hour. There just isn't. I don't think they'll publish it. It would be strange if they did. I think what's more likely is that it's going to be a surprise, right? That also draws attention. What's happening in Trinidad and Tobago obviously could also be an indicator of something, right? We would have to see how the forces in Trinidad and Tobago are made up, and we would also have to look at what's happening in that regard. But let's look at a few more reactions to what's happening with Venezuela, and then we'll move on to the comments, okay? Look, something that just came out today, October 31st, is that Donald Trump, listen to what he says. Donald Trump says he does not consider attacks inside Venezuela, contradicting everything I just said. Not me, but what intelligence sources say, not the Washington Post or Wall Street Journal. Totally the opposite. What that tells me is that if he's saying no, then it's probably going to happen, right? I mean, that's just how Trump is, right? Besides, I mean, it would be illogical. Don't you recall what happened with Iran? The day before, they were in talks. The same day the United States bombed Iran. That day, they had a diplomatic meeting. Remember, there was a diplomatic meeting. Obviously, they didn't attend because they were bombing the Iranians, right? So, the fact that he says he doesn't consider attacks inside Venezuela actually makes me think the opposite. President Trump denied Friday that he is considering attacks in Venezuela. Despite reports from the Wall Street Journal which talk about an internal attack, apparently contradicting his own statements from last week, in which he also said that it is possible that operations related to drug trafficking could be expanded. Expanding doesn't mean attacking Venezuela. Expansion could target many other places. But anyway, let's say that's the issue. Contradiction, total truth between what is actually happening and what Trump is saying. Well, having said that, let's move on to other points about what's happening there in the evaluation that's being done. The Wall Street Journal says the Street Journal reports that Trump is already advising airstrikes against Venezuelan military facilities linked to drug trafficking. However, Trump now denies it. If Trump isn't authorizing attacks, as he claims, and the White House says it has no plans to do so, half of the United States is warning that something is happening in Washington, but it's not clear if this has to do with the Venezuelans. There are movements. Even last night, there was a pizza sale at the Pentagon. It was intense. I don't know. I haven't checked right now, but last night, at least it was like that. Like the sales were about double, right? Maybe it's also because of this. Well, it's not about the indicator's strength. Well, something's always happening at the Pentagon, and you know how pizza sales always go all out. Here, this is what the United States Southern Command posted 6 minutes ago. Well, more videos of, right? Of exercises and, well, also spreading it, right? In the end, that's what it is. Is the judge the command the official account? We're seeing it there where, well, they show strength again, but apparently it doesn't go beyond that. Well then,